Bert, we're back on our final duo episode together.
We are.
Probably our final episode that we won't be forced into some kind of Marvel conversation for a while.
Yeah, it was a nice break of conversation, I'm not gonna lie.
Probably our first in a while, or our last in a while of like good anime stuff too.
Yeah.
So we've finished French Fry, also known as Bert.
Frieren Beyond Journey's End or something like that.
Something like that. And we're breaking our like episode by episode format. We're gonna talk about, the last arc plus
Mainly
one or
because
two episodes.
Beforehand, each episode kind of had its own story, so it made sense to take it episode by episode. But these last couple episodes all kind of just flush together over the same arc.
Also, like the 6 episode gaps was luckily just like working out. Whereas now there's like a 2 episode arc. So to do 6 now, it'd be like an arc and a half, which would be weird.
That is true.
So we're just going to wrap it up here. Give our general thoughts on the show as a whole, as well as, the ending.
Maybe a bit of speculation.
Things like that, yeah. Now, before we specifically get into French Fry, I want to open it back up to anime in general. Because overall, I really, really liked French Fry. It was really good. I have some complaints, but overall good.
Okay,
it really got me into like wanting to watch more anime again, but I'm struggling to find something.
I know, like that. It was such a good quality story that it's hard to find one that can match that.
Yeah. So, have you been watching any anime? Is basically what I'm getting to here.
I've been watching some of the stuff that's been coming out.
Probably, right?
Yeah, Slime, but that's over now. That just ended for the season. I was watching.
You know what Sorry, you go.
Takas, I can't pronounce it, but something Moon. You go, and I'll search up the name.
Okay. I've been watching season 3 of Konosuba. I love Konosuba. It's like cringy as hell and like just insane, but it's like one of those like it's trash but fun to watch type of things. It makes fun
of a lot of isekai tropes, doesn't it not?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's not like god tier storytelling, but it's definitely funny as shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I am with anime right now. Konosuba is like the only thing keeping me in like the anime is pretty decent right now, and it's got like 1 episode left in the season. That episode will actually probably be out by the time we post this, so it'll be over by the time this comes out.
Yeah, a lot of anime that's been coming out is ending now. At least their seasons are wrapping up.
What were like the big ones of this season? Kaiju number 8 was like one that was really popular, but I haven't watched. But I'm just not into those type of shows. Windbreaker, that's one that I've heard people talk about.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what like mainstream.
I mean, Demon Slayer is back, but I have not watched Demon Slayer. My Hero Academia has also been going on. Another show I don't watch. Yeah,
I didn't know these were all going down. I'll be honest.
Well, those are 2 big ones that have been going on, but it just happens to be that I've never seen either of those. So
yeah, I started watching My Hero. And I watched Demon Slayer, but I watched Demon Slayer after the entire season comes out. Because I don't find it enjoyable watching it weekly.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I've not seen any of it.
It's pretty good. The animation's pretty nice.
I do hear that I've heard from people saying, like, story's alright, carried by the animation, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So I have no idea what's coming out in the next season of anime. Like, I can't think of anything. Like, I have no clue. What has been popping off though, and this is a much more niche anime. Laid Back Camp season 3 got dubbed this season, so I crushed that. Love that show.
We watched a couple episodes, I remember.
That is like the most relaxing, like when you're in bed and you're like trying to fall asleep and you just need to put something on show. Great show.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to try that because I've been having those nights recently.
Oh my god. And honestly, I think season 3 might be my favorite season so far because season 3 has, this is gonna sound so weird, but it just has like an epic like arc, you know, like a pretty long one, whereas the other 2 seasons, I think the longest arc was maybe 2 episodes. I think this one had a 4 episode camping trip, which is crazy.
You must have had a huge expedition.
As crazy as camping can be.
Yeah, I'm sure they made it exciting in their anime way.
It's just so relaxing. Love that show. And season 3, you know what was also crazy? Season 2 wasn't dubbed. Season 2 got dubbed, and then the day after the last episode dub of season 2 came out, they instantly dubbed season 3. It was crazy. The
entirety of it, or just the first episode?
Like weekly.
Okay, that's still really nice.
Yeah, so it was like I was watching season 2 because I was like, hell yeah, season 2 is finally dubbed. And then I finished it, and I was like, time to wait, you know, another 2 years for season 3. But they just kept freaking grinding. Like, I just kept watching it weekly, season 2 and then season 3.
That's cool.
It rocked. So, yeah, that's my entire anime history of this season. Konosuba and Laid Back Camp. And then French Fry, but that's from last season. We were just late to the party.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know how to pronounce the first part of this anime. It's like Takasumiki, something Moonlight Fantasy.
I have not heard of that. What's it about?
It's an isekai, but it kind of has. So his parents are from the world he got like teleported to. So his parents got teleported to Japan, like reverse isekai, and then he got brought back to his parents' world.
So his parents and his... Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So...
I normally don't like isekai. Konosuba's like the exception.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's about how the god, like the goddess of that world, has a thing where like all humans need to be like good looking and he's an ugly boy. So
it's about you.
Yeah, pretty much. So she's like, I don't want you in the human town. Go to like where the demi-humans live. And yeah, so because of that he hates the goddess, so he wants to like
let's go
back to Earth and eventually probably end up killing her because he's slowly becoming strong enough to throughout like the anime according to other characters, but he doesn't recognize it himself.
I see. We gotta totally find like another good anime. Because, I mean, maybe yours is really good, but mine are, like, just decent. I mean, they're good, but they're not, like, get you addicted to the show type of good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to find anime that we both like.
It is hard.
Because we kind of have different tastes.
It's just hard to find anime these days. I feel like a lot of them are just... There's usually at least one, like, pop-off per season. But... a lot of them, like, even if I don't dislike them, they're just all right, I feel like.
Yeah, like, I'm not excited. Like, I don't look forward to watching them every week, but when they're on, I'm like, oh, nice, it's on.
I've been watching a lot of anime that I've just been like, yeah, it's all right. Like, I like it, but as soon as the episode's over, I'm not thinking about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We might just be spoiled with how, like, really good Frieren was.
Frieren was really good.
Surprisingly, too.
That
was like one of those ones.
I thought it was gonna be
decent,
I knew it, but I didn't think.
Yeah, I thought it would at least be all right because it was like, you know, everyone was like, "This is the hit of the season." Being winter season, I think, is when that came out.
Yeah, I remember seeing like people talk about it as it was coming out, and it was one of those. I'll try it, but it didn't really like seem interesting.
I am definitely glad I waited for it to end, though, especially with the last arc.
I would have been so upset with that last arc, honestly, if I was waiting.
Yeah. Which, let's get into it now. So, just to catch us up to speed, I believe the episode that we would start at kind of would be when they meet up with this priest guy.
We
right?
talked about him.
Oh, we did that. We did that already.
I believe. We'll just re-mention him.
Oh yeah. No, we did.
I think we
Because
got right up to the exam. But just to recap,
no, I don't think so. Because we never. I want to say this because it was the last like legendary 10 out of 10 god tier moment before the show didn't suck.
fall.
But I feel like the end went down a bit. But at this point, it was still like up there in the peaks. The old dude, the old dwarf guy. You remember him?
Yes.
He watches the town and he's like, I don't remember
Oh
why I
my
watched
gosh,
the town.
yes.
That was like a classic Frieren like peak moment. Like that was one of those great moments where they're just like with this old dude who guards this town. He's like, I don't know why I guard the town. Or no, he's like, I guard the town to remember my wife. I can't remember her or what she looked like or sounded like, but I know
she cared
that.
about this town.
Yeah. And then like by the end of the episode, just due to his like interactions with Frieren, he remembers her and it is just great. Loved that shit. That was peak. That was freaking peak, man.
It
You
was
didn't like
so
that?
good. I love that part.
Great stuff. Also, I believe we talked about how Sign was like introduced to the group. I am mildly upset that he did not become a permanent part of the group because his like relationship with Stark I thought was so funny.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was I feel like Stark almost needed him. It balanced
I
out
loved
the
him.
party.
It's so funny because like as I was watching this show, every time they introduced a new character, I was like, oh, I don't want a fucking new character. And then by like 2-3 episodes, I was like, I love this character.
It's awesome.
You know, like it was just Frieren at first, then Fern was introduced. I'm like, oh, I just want Frieren. And then I was like, okay, Fern's pretty awesome. Then they came up to Stark, and I'm like, nah, we don't need him. The girls are cool. But then he was awesome. I was like, okay, we can keep him.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sign.
The show does do a really good job at making you like the characters that they introduce. At least the ones that are going to stick around.
Yeah. So, but the main thing that we have not covered is the first class mage exams. And unfortunately, I feel like this is where the show drops in quality a little bit. Now, not necessarily in quality, because as far as an exam arc, it's a good exam arc. It's fine. But it was like, I felt like this show was so unique up until that point, and then it just became like your standard anime exam arc, you know?
Yeah. It definitely kind of fell into
like it was
mold.
a high tier exam arc for what an exam arc is, you know? Like, yeah, it's a decent exam arc, but I would have preferred to stick with like the uniqueness of the rest of the show.
I agree, because it definitely did a lot of the same tropes that every exam arc in an anime does. You know, like the bad guys operating in the background through the exam, things like that.
Yeah, and like, you know, as far as an exam arc, it wasn't bad, but it's just so played out at this point.
Yeah.
Also, they overload you with characters in this portion.
Yeah, it's true. Especially because beforehand they introduced like 1 or 2 every couple episodes. Now they like 8 or 9.
Which is kind of unfortunate because I actually like a lot of the characters, and there's not a single one that I feel like I had enough time with. Like, I liked a lot of them, and everyone I was like, man, I wish I would have seen more of this one.
Yeah.
So, like, just to start out with our new characters, right? We'll start with in the first exam is the bird thing, right? Or is that the second?
It's the first.
Okay. So in the first exam, they're like split into teams of 3, Forest of Death, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get a Forest of Death arc. And Frieren and Fern get split up into different teams. Honestly, I really liked both of their teams all the characters on both of them. So we'll start with Frieren. She had the ice and water girl.
Mm-hmm.
They were cool. They have no freaking business being here though. Like in this elite mage
Yeah, I don't know
exam,
how
they're
they
so
qualified.
like middle of the road exam or middle of the road mages.
Yeah, the only reason, yeah, they are, but I don't know. I feel like
They're cool.
I think they were to refine their skills a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I liked them as characters. They were definitely cool. And one of them had a pretty badass moment when Frieren like busted the dome, and then she just like became Aquaman.
Yeah. But what's cool was how they were building it up. Because she kept saying, like, throughout, like, episodes prior, she was like, damn, if only it was raining, I'd be unstoppable. And then when Frieren broke the barrier and it started raining, she was like, finally, I'm unstoppable.
That was also a freaking badass moment.
When she broke the barrier?
By Frieren, where that she just, like, freaking blasted into the sky.
Especially because, like, the one mage was like, it's unbreakable. There's no way. And then not even a moment later, it gets shattered.
The guy hosting that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't remember her name, but you know who I also really liked? The second proctor person, the girl with the like magic hair. She was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was. I forgot her name too.
But we'll get to her when we get to the second exam. So then I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but Fern's team. Dude, those two are so badass. I loved them. The green hair girl who's like insane, and the guy that looks like Kiba from Naruto.
They are.
They are like so cool. I really liked them. Like they were freaking bad. And you specifically the green hair girl in the second exam, she has some great moments.
Yeah.
But not much to say really about the forest. They just had to catch some birds, and it was
cool. I mean, they're kind of
it was just all right.
So
we're also what's that?
I guess it was kind of cool how French Fry's team went about catching the bird. How they polluted all
in like the most complicated way possible
because they just couldn't do it. So they just
they like froze the massive lake and then infused puddles with mana so that
the birds would
only be like one.
And they just waited.
So that, like I said, off the bat, we're introduced to 4 characters right there. And then on top of that, there is a third team. There's a bunch of teams, but there's 3 teams that are actually focused on. There's a third team now with the old guy, the girl that has like a weapon thing. I don't even know. You know what I'm talking about? The old guy, the nerdy guy, and the girl.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what that's called.
Of that team, only the old guy is a good character. The other 2 are so, like, forgettable.
Yes.
But that old dude, he is freaking cool. He's like the Iroh of this show.
He was. He's even was, like, trying to make the wise decisions.
I did like that. And I also liked how, like, everyone's like, oh, I want this power, I want this. And he's like, I'm just trying to get through the customs that require a first-class mage to go see the grave of my wife. It's like, damn. You know?
Yeah. Poor guy.
So, first exam, kind of mid, honestly. Had some badass moments, and there are cool characters introduced, but overall, probably the worst of the 3 exams, actually.
The second exam, though.
Second was pretty good, yeah. The second exam's like a maze. And this is actually where you get to see more of the like other characters' cool abilities, and also some characters get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. Is it a maze?
Yeah, so they have to like
dungeon.
It's a dungeon maze.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think, right?
Yeah.
A dungeon is pretty much a maze, right? Unless you've mapped it out already.
Yeah.
What was cool about this one, they had like some flashbacks to the party of heroes that were pretty cool about how they used to like go
up to every single
aggressively
dungeon.
into dungeons and search them like a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
which was pretty
4x4.
funny. Yeah, and that's like it was showing how French Fry like was doing that still. I always love the moments where she like carries on something from the past in the present. That's always sick.
She was making new memories while reminiscing about old ones. It was cool to see.
And like finally get, you know, the Frieren Fern team up in this challenge, because on the last one they weren't on the same team.
The boss or enemy for this like dungeon is so cool.
Dude, I thought that was so freaking funny though, because like a bunch of characters got to like the end of the dungeon, and the whole thing of this dungeon was there was like these creatures that like clone the participants.
Like exactly.
And at the end there was like 4 or 5 of them, and they clone, and there was like a Frieren clone, and they're like, we can't take her with only 5 of us.
Yeah, that was funny.
That shit was hilarious to me. And then what was the biggest shock to you during this exam? Because I know mine is during this portion of it, the dungeon.
How tough it was for the two of them.
Like, that's true, actually, because eventually, you know, Fern and Frieren get to the bottom too, and they're like, okay, we will deal with the Fern, the Frieren. Mm-hmm. Frieren and Fern will. And then you guys watch out for any other clones that come. You like watch our back, basically.
Pretty much, because...
And I was like, yeah, this adds up, actually, because obviously a Frieren is even at a Fernin, and that's a pretty good fight.
Yeah. I wonder...
I do have one problem with this, though. I feel like they kind of hyped up Fern a little too much here. Like,
they did.
I love Fern being badass, but like they were making it seem like she was just
the chosen
superior to everything.
I feel like they're setting up her potential.
Yeah.
Because
she clearly still isn't stronger than Frieren, but definitely has the potential to be.
Mm-hmm. Especially because she was overwhelming Frieren. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like she was actually like putting pressure on her.
So also this was what I thought was badass. Probably my favorite part of this second exam was so like the proctor goes in with them and actually sticks with Frieren and Fern, but she also gets cloned, and the whole time you're thinking, well, that's got to be the like most dangerous clone, or at least on par with Frieren, because this is the proctor, you know, one of the top 3 mages of the world.
Pretty big deal.
And the green hair girl just no-diffed it. It was crazy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, and this hair girl, like, she had just taken out like 2 or 3 people. She took out Nerd Guy from the old dudes group, and she took out the water girl from Frieren's previous group.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, old dude's like, we can't take it. And then she just comes in and destroys it. And I actually love her power. Basically, first of all, she has like basically a Sharingan copy ability. She can just copy people's abilities, which is pretty cool.
It is.
But her like main power is that she can like cut anything that she's able to like picture being cut. So like the whole deal was that this like top tier proctor mage uses magic hair that is normally uncuttable, but since this girl's like, well, obviously you can just picture hair being cut, it's an easy cut for her.
That's cool.
So she just destroyed it. I loved that. That was freaking cool. And I felt like that was one of the best animated fights too, because at least specifically this green hair girl, I feel like she does the most just like flips and crazy shit when fighting.
She is the most acrobatic.
Which, that's always a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, what's cool about the visualization of like the hair cutting and stuff is that goes into what Frieren says about magic. How a lot of it is just visualization.
Yeah, so this crazy girl is actually pretty freaking powerful.
She just doesn't actually understand.
Yeah, she just doesn't know why. She just is. And also, there was a moment where she like saved this other freaking bubble nerd guy that is on her team that was with Frieren, or not Frieren, with Fern. like on the previous one, on that 3 team. She like saved Flower Boy. I guess that was kind of show like she's not a terrible person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are like the main points of the second exam. Eventually, though, the fight with Frieren and Fern against fake Frieren was pretty badass because it was just like massive magic being shot off by the two of them.
And they were not holding back.
Yeah, and then Fern, she was basically just trying. Frieren had to like tank a hit so that Fern could get a hit in. It was super cool, actually. You know what else I liked too? How the like Proctor leader, no, it wasn't the Proctor leader. I think it was Frieren and like some other expert sensor they had. They're like, I detect everyone except Fern's clone, which just fits with her like previous stuff.
We know the clones.
And the Fern clone was like jump scaring people. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that actually would be so scary.
I'd be scared of a Fern, yeah. So, yeah, badass fight. A couple side characters had pretty good fights. This was a decent one. The only thing is, like I said, I just feel like it doesn't have that like uniqueness that the earlier episodes had, you know?
Yeah, it's just a fight scene. There's no like
good fights, but it wasn't like as deep, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So we also get during this time, like between exams, they occasionally come back, and this is the biggest flaw for me. Stark like nearly disappears for the last like 8 episodes of the show, or 6 or something. Only having like cameos in like 2 episodes.
He got forgotten.
And I was like, damn, like he's my favorite character, I think.
I do like
But
Stark.
when they would cameo him, it was peak. It was freaking peak. He was like meditating on a mountain and some random old dude would just tell him weird shit.
Yeah, that was funny.
Fern would come to see him, which is always adorable. The classic Fern and Stark. I'm excited to see that progress.
Yeah, me too.
And then like I think they go out to dinner or something, the 3 of them. After the second exam. They just talk and it was a nice time.
They come across
and
the
then
old
they
man.
get ready for and I think they meet up and it's like a big dinner. So then we get to the final exam, which is basically you go up to. This was pretty cool actually, because turns out that this like master mage of the world is also an elf and had previously met Frieren and Flamma.
So she was actually Flamma's teacher.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And what's so cool about this is that like Frieren basically like does not agree with this elf's like views on magic. So for the last exam was just going to talk to this person, like an interview basically. Frieren's like, yeah, I'm screwed. She hates me.
Yeah, that was funny.
We predicted this though, remember?
Cool.
Where like I watched Fern pass and Frieren's not. We predicted that.
Yeah. I mean at least the reasoning kind of made sense.
Yeah, I liked it.
But pretty much like
basically it was that Frieren she asked Frieren what her favorite spell was and she said one to make a field of flowers and she's like, that shit's useless. You fail.
And then Fern, she sees the potential. Because how could you not?
Even what was cool about it though was Fern actually was basically saying the same stuff as Frieren. Like she has the same like views as Frieren, but this elf was like, all right. But Fern, she just passed Fern for some reason. There were some surprising passes though. So expected passes. I expected old man to pass. He passed. I expected green hair girl to pass. She passed. Who I did not expect to pass was the Kiba guy.
Yeah. I
was like, wow, I didn't think he'd pass.
I'm actually kind of happy French Fries original team failed. Because I thought they were somehow going to pass.
That was Frieren's team. Not French Fries passed.
Those 2 girls passed?
Oh, wait, sorry. No, I meant Fern's passed. French Fries did not.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, one of them failed in the second one, and then the other one got to the last
And
third
then
one
failed.
and instantly failed there.
No, I know. I'm saying I'm happy they failed because I thought they were going to somehow
Yeah,
pass.
me too.
And I was like, that's kind of BS.
Yeah, because they were carried through both of the well, one of them didn't even make it through the second one, but
They were being carried.
yeah, I mean they were decent, but they were like mid-level mages.
They were a rank below whatever that test was.
So yeah, pretty much wraps up, and then so like your reward for winning is you get like one spell, anything in the world, and the reason that this is what I thought was so funny because the reason Frieren failed was because this other elf was like, you pick stupid spells, whatever, and then Fern also picked a stupid spell, and she was like, maybe I shouldn't have passed you. Because what did she wanted a spell to like instantly clean stains out of clothes or something?
Was that what she said? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like some way to like instantly do laundry even if it's like permanently stained. Like she can clean anything.
That's useful.
Yeah, right? So that was her like any spell in the world she could pick, and that's what she got. Showing that she like carries on Frieren's views on magic, I feel like.
That's nice though. That's honestly that's how I think magic should be used. So like
to clean clothes?
No, like not for destruction, but to enhance life.
Yeah, I mean I wish I could do that.
Like they in the Frieren likes to collect magic that removes the rust off of statues or makes flowers grow, versus the other elf that likes to that tends to or seems to have a more militaristic view on magic and views it as like a power,
that's true.
Force to be wielded.
Yeah, so test is over. Also though, there's a moment where they get like attacked by one of the like lead magic people, remember?
Yes.
They're like all waiting outside to see what Fern's gonna pick for her spell. It's Stark and Frieren. And then this dude just comes out and he's like pissed that he was like pissed
because
that
the elf that knew all the magic wanted to take Fern as an apprentice, and he didn't want her to get a new apprentice.
Yeah, he's like, I'm supposed to be it, but she forgot about me or whatever. Also loved that the like lead magic person in the world was like, you're gonna be my apprentice, and Fern's like, actually I'm with Frieren. Loved that.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then I also love Frieren explains to this guy, actually I've talked to your elf person before and she remembers everyone that she's ever done as an apprentice. And then he eventually like cried or something and he was like, fine, I'm leaving. It was cool. And it wraps up just like that. They leave town, they start heading more towards heaven, and it ends. And I was like, well,
season 2.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said I wasn't mildly disappointed because like I said, exams were all right, but I would have rather had another 6 episodes of travel.
I feel like the exams killed whatever momentum the show had going for it. Because I feel like one of the show's strongest advantage was I felt like we were following Frieren. So time was more loosey-goosey. Like each episode didn't really feel like... We didn't really know how much time exactly passed. We just know like maybe a couple days or a couple weeks might have passed. But in the towards the end, the episodes turned into back-to-back sequentially. There's no...
Yeah, I mean, that's not... I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but it just felt so, contained, Normally they're exploring the world, they're seeing new people, gaining knowledge of,
every other anime.
There's, world building. Yeah, it was just so, standard anime. It was high quality of that trope, but it was still a trope,
No, exactly.
So... before that point, I would say the show was a 9 out of 10. Just including that point, I would say that part was probably a 7 So I think I would give the season 1 an 8.
I'm gonna say an 8.5 because I would say it was a 9.5 without the exam arc.
It was great, and like even the end, it's not like it was bad. It was just
This is one of those
not what I'm
animes that
looking
I would probably want to rewatch in a little while just to like re-experience it because at least in the beginning,
It's definitely.
it's moving.
Sorry, what's up?
In the beginning, it's
Yeah.
moving.
It's definitely fortunate that is the end of the season, because if it started like that, I probably would have been like, it's all right, but
Yeah, it would have been harder
kind
to
of
watch.
whatever.
I hope season 2 doesn't pay.
Yeah, I want to get back to
Me
travel.
too.
I want to see more freaking Stark.
I think-
That was the biggest flaw for me. Like, I feel like I probably would have been able to enjoy the exams more if Stark was at least in more than like 2 episodes for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. At least the way they, from what I remember, them getting their certification was like the last big requirement they needed to actually set off on their journey.
Yeah, so they should be able to just travel and fix random towns like they were before, which I loved.
Yeah, me too. And it was cool to learn a bit about the journey prior.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall, great show. Fumbles a little bit at the end, but not to where you're like, this
It's not
is
unwatchable.
bad.
It was still very good.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah, me too. I hope we can get him to watch it. He's got to watch. Like, it's so freaking good for that first like 20 episodes.
It is. It's crazy.
It's like almost perfect.
It really is so close to being a perfect season. But maybe when season 2 comes out, it'll become like, if it's better, it'll be the perfect show. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, they just got to get back to like the pace they had right before the exams,
I agree.
which it's left in a spot that it can, so.
Yeah, they're setting off on them. They're ended with them going off again.
I mean, I changed my Crunchyroll picture to French fry. I had it as Fern for a little bit too.
I noticed. Mine's still Rimuru.
Mostly because like my main animes are not options.
Yeah. Naruto not a thing?
It's not an image option.
That's surprising.
I would also do Konosuba, but I don't think they have those either.
Huh.
Yeah, but overall, great show, worth watching. It incredibly deep for the first 75% of it.
Yeah.
And then even the last 25%, at least there's some good action, and
It's still enjoyable.
yeah.
Just becomes a bit more mainstream, I'd say.
Yeah, a bit more generic. That wraps up French fry. So that brings me to our next topic that I wanted to question young Bert about. What, if it even has been happening, have you been gaming lately?
I have been playing Half-Life for the first time.
Oh, yes, I knew that already. Actually, I just figured you'd be done with it by now.
I think I'm almost done. I'm in Xenu, or whatever that place is called.
I've never played it. Well, I played it, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember.
I actually
Much.
really enjoy it.
That's good.
It's nice because a lot of games today, they kind of tell you where to go and what to do. And even if they don't explicitly say, eventually you'll get some hint that pretty much tells you the answer. But this game does not do that. This game will make you, will let you sit around for hours twiddling your thumbs for you to, waiting for you to figure out, what to do next. And it's cool because there's no, UI elements telling you what to do. So a good example would be you need to go turn on this generator to get this elevator. Or you need to go up this elevator. So you go to it and it doesn't work. And then you turn around and then you see elevator controls. So you go let me go check this out. So you follow the sign and you get there. And then you see that there's no power. And then you saw earlier in the hallway there's a maintenance area. So then you have to remember all of this and actually explore your environment.
I see.
And there's not one path to go to places. So if there's multiple ways to go to things and they reward you for exploring.
Bert, I think you might have finally aged enough to enjoy games other than brain rot games.
Probably. This is probably what's happening. Is my frontal lobe is developing enough.
Back in your youth, you would be like, "This isn't Skylanders. This game's shit."
Yeah, it's cool, and then it's cool because you don't there's no cutscenes, so you never like cannot control your character, except the one time you can't control your character is when you're getting like kidnapped, and so like obviously you couldn't control your character then, but like you can entirely skip like story if you wanted to by running past NPCs.
I got you. Big question here. I'm pretty sure I'm about to be disappointed.
Oh no.
So, did you give up on GTA 5?
No, not explicitly, but I will admit it kind of fell out of my head.
Unfortunate. That's such a good game. What you need to do, though, freaking peak storytelling. Yes, better than any game, any movie, any book, any story I've ever heard in my life. I'm just talking about the storytelling. Red Dead is the peak.
Okay.
It's so goddamn good.
Okay, I'll add it to the list. But
It's a long one, though. It's definitely a long one. It is.
My plan, I was getting really into the Half-Life game, so I wanted to play Half-Life 2.
Yeah, do that. Finish that, but I'm just saying.
I wanted to play Black
Mesa.
Make sure
one of these days you freaking
I discovered what
hop
that
on
was.
Red Dead 2. Black Mesa's alright.
It's, well, from what I've read, it's like just a more shooty version of Half-Life. So it's more like
Classic Bird.
Call of Duty reimagining of Half-Life.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like games that I want to play. I don't even know. I'll probably play Doom Eternal sometime soon just because there's a new Doom coming up.
I do intend on trying to finish the Doom games.
I loved Doom 2016. That's like probably a top 15 game for me ever. And like I'm pretty sure I've said this before, like word around the world is that Eternal is better. So I'm definitely excited for that. And that trailer for, what is it called? Like,
the new one.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Doom something.
Talked about
Dark Ages, I think.
On the Xbox.
That shit looks badass.
Yeah. Well, one game I do have that I want to play is Resident Evil 4. The remastered one.
I have that and I haven't played it. I played the 2 remaster and the 3 and I liked both of them. I definitely like 2 more, but I should play 4 too. I haven't gotten to it. The only ones I've played before the remasters was 6 and it was dog shit. And then they did like the 2 remake and I played it and I was like, fuck, that was so good. Then I did the 3 and it was alright. Nothing amazing, but decent. So I bought 4, but I just never played it.
I heard 4 is one of the best of the series.
Yeah, I've heard 4 is the best one. Like pre-remake, everyone was like 4 was always the best one.
So,
but I don't know.
Me neither. Before then, the only experience I have is, I think, Biohazard. And I didn't even play it. That's watched. 7, right? I think it's 7. I believe. But I just watched someone play the whole game.
Village is 7 because of the VIL thing.
Oh, yeah. So 6.
No, 6 exists. I think it's 8, technically. It's like an unnumbered 8.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that was a good one.
Resident Evil, those fans are lucky, man. They got good games, and as soon as they started being bad, the company just went back to the old ones.
Yeah, the company cares. Can't say that about American companies.
Unfortunate. Well, hey, we'll find a freaking anime soon, and we also need to, just for the people out there, we're now getting back to normal stuff. We no longer have any banked episodes, which kind of sucks. I enjoyed not doing this every week.
It was kind of nice to have a weekend off.
But whatever. We're getting back to it. We'll probably go to the movies or something. We haven't been to the movies in so long, and we'll see whatever the new thing is.
We're thinking Inside Out too. Just so you guys have a bit
probably.
of sneak peek.
I actually love the first one.
I did too. We should do both.
So,
Like,
kind of
we
excited.
touch on the first and then discuss the second.
Yeah. You should come here. We'll watch them both.
I do want to, but I'm almost done with my classes for the summer. And I don't have a lot more free time.
When does that end? Just for everyone to know, so we can dox you.
I think in like a week. Maybe
Like
I think
at the
this
end
week,
of this week or next week?
this week.
Oh, nice.
Forget today is Monday.
You should
As
head
of
out here
recording.
then. On the weekend.
Yeah.
We can pop off Inside Out 1 and then go to the movies and see 2.
Yeah. Well,
I also have some board games I still want to play. But whatever. We'll figure it out. It's looking like it'll probably be an Inside Out episode. If not that, there's some other like minor things. We never watched the final episode of X-Men, so that would probably cover some time.
I actually forgot about that show.
Don't tell me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
No,
you've seen it.
I was so excited about that show, but then since Alex wasn't here, I kind of
that
forgot
show,
about Marvel.
that show peaked like really high, and then we just stopped.
Like for no reason.
So I might actually watch that. It'll probably only be a short section on our next thing.
Probably gonna go watch it right after this. I'm being honest.
Because I think I'm pretty sure we left one episode only.
I think so.
Like, if not one, then 2. Like, it's definitely a small amount of episodes.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you remember it if you watch it, though.
I will.
For next weekend. Anyways, yeah, he's back, everyone. He's just not here because we needed to finish our Frieren stuff, and it would not make sense for him to be here right now. Yeah. We'll get it later. Yeah, I think that's it. Inside Out and probably X-Men. So,
See ya.
Bert, say the thing.
Keep it salty.